Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Underground, thunder bounce, and I stop the ground like a million elephants, a silverback orangutan. You can't stop the train. Who wants to don't come? Welcome to the jungle. We got what it takes. We got everything you want. The folks about made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue. Run to the hills. Run now. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the
What's up, everybody? Welcome to everybody's favorite day of the week. That's right, it's finally Friday. Woo! And today we got a somewhat of a decent show planned. Believe it or not, yes, we actually plan these things. But today, as always, I'm joined by Raptor Mom. What's up, Mom?
Not much. Hey, y'all.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
So, man, we've since we've come back from Colorado, in case you didn't notice, and you were buried under a rock, we went to the first ever Freedom On Festival, which was in Denver, Colorado, and it was an awesome freaking time. Some huge bands, some great people, and everyone. I haven't heard one bad thing about it. Man, I got my headphones all jacked up. They're in front of me instead of behind me. So we had a great time. Now, because we were there, we got to meet some great people, as I said, which in turn has allowed us to, I guess, bring on some awesome guests. So soon in the lineup, we're going to have some pretty awesome guests, some pretty awesome organizations on the show. Tonight, for Friday Night Fuckery with Redleg, we're going to have Danny and Six Jane from Girls for Gunslingers, who were part of the making of Freedom On Festival. They took part in making this thing happen. So they're going to be on the show tonight. And then on Monday, we got Maria, who's the CEO of Adam's Warrior Buddy. It's kind of like a service dog organization, but she can tell you all about that on Monday. And then we got someone lined up for Friday, and then probably next Monday. Like we got all kinds of guests all lined up. So you guys need to stay tuned for all that kind of good stuff. But it's Friday, right? It's Friday. So, yeah, everyone's finally made it through the week. Good job. Yeah.
Now the girls that'll be on tonight, they're great. You know, we personally, we got to hang out with them. They're awesome, wonderful bunch. So it'll be entertaining to listen to them tonight.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, especially in the pizza parlor. Man,
yeah, that was a blast.
Yeah, that was fun. I think it was, when was it? We got there on a Wednesday. I think it was Thursday night. What did we do? I think we went out. Did we go out we went go-kart racing.
Yeah, and then we went and picked up all that remains from the airport, took them to the hotel.
Yep.
Hung out with Matt Best and Nick Parmigiano at the hotel, and then the drinks were just like flowing right to us. We're just like, whoa. And then after that, Red Lake, needed his beauty sleep, so he went back to our apartment, and we went to the pizza parlor and hung out with Girls for Gunslingers.
Yeah, that was an awesome time. I had fun.
I did too.
John Cena was there as well.
Too.
John Cena was there eating pizza.
Yeah, that was awesome, wasn't it?
Matthew said I cheated during the go-kart racing. There's no way I could have cheated. So now, there was some people that were saying, oh, well, you were in the front, so you obviously got the fastest lap. Well, on the so we done two races. Both races I was in the front. Now We think that was because it was in the order everyone signed up in. It happened. Like no one really had a choice about it, and no one knew that would be the order when they signed up. Yes, Ryan, I got a dip in. I was in front both times when the races started. Now, the rankings were all determined based off the fastest lap. Now, in the very first race, my fastest lap was my last lap. And that's kind of what put me up in first place. And I think my next fastest lap would have put me in third or fourth place. I can't remember. But anyway, the very first lap, the reason why me being in front doesn't matter is because I lapped everybody, not once, but twice. Yes, that's right. I lapped everybody twice, which means I had to go through the pack twice. And my last lap was the fastest. So being starting position doesn't really matter. And then on the second race, I think it was like halfway through, like my fifth or sixth lap was my fastest lap again. And again, I lapped everyone at least once. And I think I lapped 2 people twice. So I was starting to go through the pack again. But by that time, I think everyone was already used to the track, the karts. So my dominant lead of 2 laps ahead of everyone kind of fell back a little bit. So yeah, so there was no real way I was cheating. I'm just an uber awesome driver.
I mean, I was in second. Like, I started right behind you, Pi, and I ended up in fifth each race.
Yeah, I don't know how. But, I mean, it's fun. I love driving. I always try and push the limits and kind of try and learn from each lap and the areas that I kind of screwed up on. I don't know. I love it. I think it's awesome. So, what we should do is the next WTF Nation Radio event that we go to, we should do go-karting again. And you guys out there, if you're in the area for wherever the event is, you should come too. It'd be a lot of fun to get you guys out on the track with us.
I always thought, doing like taking parts of the video of us, crash go-karts, probably safety brief saying, "Hey, these guys are sober and they can't drive. Don't drink and drive."
Well, you can speak for yourself, Mom. I kind of dominated.
Yeah.
Phil says Cos was driving like a little old lady, but Cos had fun, believe it or not. Even though Cos came last, he had a blast. He thought it was awesome. Everyone that took part, even Redleg was recording it. Even he said he had fun, just kind of watching and recording and commentating and stuff. So it was definitely a blast. Everyone had fun. It was a good time had by all. So we definitely got to do stuff like that again in the future. It's just pretty awesome. Yeah. So speaking of events and stuff, Halloween is coming up soon. It's like a week and 3 days away, like actual Halloween. I don't know when. Now, this is what's weird about America, and I've never really understood it. So in the States, you have like specific day that you go trick-or-treating, and it's generally not on Halloween. Is that right?
Message saying that I'm muted on the server side.
You shouldn't be. You're coming through. There is no difference between you being muted on Facebook and YouTube versus the server. If you can be heard on one, you should be able to be heard on all. I know you were kind of breaking in and out a little bit, but you should be good. But yeah, so you have like a specific day for Halloween for some strange reason. I don't know why that is. Now I can understand if it's because there's school and you want to do it on like a Friday or a Saturday for the kids to go out and just have fun. Yeah, I got that. But then you need like something on Halloween because it's Halloween. But yeah, so I was kind of looking through Facebook and Halloween stores online, trying to work out what I'm going to be this year. So I moved to Ohio last year after I got out the army, and I didn't really have any of my stuff because it was still in storage from household good movement and all that kind of craziness. So I just essentially I was me for Halloween last year. No, I tell a lie. I went to a Halloween store and picked up like some shadow person type costume, which was all right, I guess. It was kind of like a spur of the moment type thing. Say again?
You know, like I've seen like also that spandex suit that's out there.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've seen like the
you're-
sexy Harambe, and he carries.
You're breaking up pretty bad, Mom.
Oh shit! I got toddlers on the mic.
You know, probably the best Halloween costume I've seen so far is two people. One was dressed up as Donald Trump, and the other one was dressed up as Hillary Clinton in a prison striped jumpsuit, and the Donald Trump was holding, I guess, attached to her by like a chain. So that was pretty funny. I was like, man, maybe I should go get costumes like that. Have their wife dress up as Hillary Clinton.
That would be, I think that was pretty clever too.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Pretty funny. Yeah.
See,
So
I thought about with the whole pedals thing, going around as a bear.
you know, is Pedals really that big or well known? I mean, I think because of the huge sensation and rush or surge of Harambe, everyone knows about Harambe now. But Pedals, yeah, not so much. Like I noticed there was a Facebook page called, I think it was like Pedals the
Injured bipedal bear.
Yeah, that page. Until I seen that page, I had no idea about this thing, and the only thing I know about it is Pedals was just chilling, walking around town, and then he got shot by a bow and arrow. Well, shot by an arrow from a bow, and that's all I really know about it. Like I don't know anything else about it. So yeah. So I don't know. I don't think Pedals is really that well known. Yeah. So what are you guys going to dress up as? Give me a call, 415-889-8367. If you got some crazy, wacky ideas of what you're planning to dress up as. Now, I know the main page, US Army WTF Moments, are putting on a Halloween competition. Now, I'm not sure of the full details, but I would assume, and don't just remember, I'm not aware of the full details. I'm not running this thing, but I would assume it's probably something like the craziest or best costume wins or something like that. But yeah, so they're putting on a competition where you can win some free stuffs. So that should be pretty interesting. WTF Nation Radio, you're on the air.
How's it going, Pi? It's Johnny H., your whiskey drinking friend.
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Same shit, different day.
What can I do for you, man?
But, yeah, I called because you're talking about Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
Well, last year, one of my friends had another party, so I went a spur-of-the-moment kind of costume. I took a nightstand table, cut like a hole in the center of it, put myself inside the nightstand table, took like a clicker and like a cup and lamp and shit like that, and glued it to the table. And I was walking around the place, and everyone's like, "What are you?" I was like, "I'm a one-night stand."
I like it.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good time.
Nice.
Everyone's cracking up. I actually won the little competition they had too.
No,
So
shit.
were people trying to set their drinks on your nightstand there?
Yeah, I was like, "Get that shit the fuck off my nightstand." I was like, "Where's your coaster? I don't want you to leave a ring on my fucking table." Ungrateful bastards.
That's pretty good, man. I like that. It's pretty creative.
It was like spur of the moment. I was like, "What am I gonna do?" And then I was like, "Fuck it, let's do this."
Nice. You know, I've
But,
never
yeah.
I've never really been creative when it comes to Halloween costumes. Like, so my son, this is going back maybe 5 years ago or so. My son, he wanted to be like Two-Face or some shit for Halloween. So I was like, okay, cool. So we shaved like one side of his head, and I put all kinds of like makeup and all that kind of that stuff, the special effects stuff. Put that all over him, and we went around. This was on Fort Bragg, so we went around like different places, and he no shit won 5 different costume contests.
That's awesome. The Two-Face Harvey Dent. That's hard. You know?
Yeah, he like people was like, is he wearing a mask? Like, and they were up close looking at him. Like it was legit. I spent like 2.5 hours doing the makeup, but it was awesome. So I'm creative when it comes to doing stuff, but when it comes up to thinking of like the one night stand kind of idea, yet never in a million years.
Well, a lot of my buddies and I, we all get together every Halloween, and we do liquor-themed costumes. For instance, one of my buddies was Phantom of the Vodka, so he's walking around with a vodka bottle.
Oh, nice.
Instead of Jason Voorhees, it was Jason Forties. I mean, there's all kinds of ones. Saint Nips, like Santa Claus walking around with a fucking, like a bag full of nips. Like, it was kind of funny. He was like, hey, you want a nip? Like, are you 21? Like, yeah, here's a nip. And, we've had all kinds of hilarious times. I was super drunk one year. I was Superman, so I had all kinds of different, like, liquors and shit, like, just running around the place, like, holding handles of fucking whiskey and shit. It was a good time. But
See,
I'm definitely...
you know, if I was rich, what I would be doing is I would be like for all the parents that go trick or treating with their kids, I would buy all those little mini shots of bottles and I'd be giving them to the parents.
Yeah, like, here you go. This is for you. This is for you.
Yeah.
That's what my buddy was doing. He actually took a couple people's IDs at the door and was like, here you go. Like, here's a nip. Like, enjoy your night. It was actually a good time. But I think this year I'm going to buy one of those costumes where you, like, it's like a leprechaun and you put on, like, the pants or whatever and it looks like the leprechaun's holding you on its shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the inflatable ones. I think I might get that, but I might go for another creative idea because they're all doing the liquor theme costumes this year, and I haven't thought of any of them because we basically used most of them. Freaking, my buddy's being Jack the Drinker this year, so I'm like, damn it.
You know, Pi and I, we were discussing, you know, costumes and stuff just a few minutes ago, and you know, I brought up, you know, it's like I need to find myself a slutty costume. And then I was like, oh, I could be like, you know, the slutty gorilla and, you know, carry the baby. And he's like, well, just go in, you know, in your underwear. And all I could think is like, my kids are like, mom's in her underwear again. Take the bottle away.
I don't know if the gorilla and the child would be appropriate with all that Harambe shit that's been going on recently. So people might be like, yo, are you Harambe? It's like, no, like, I'm not. Get the fuck out of my face. But I'm gonna hop off the line right now. You guys have a good day, and
You
I'll
too,
be
hon.
on night for Friday Night Fuckery.
All right. Thank you.
You too,
for
brother.
calling.
I appreciate the call, man.
You're very welcome. Have a good one.
You too.
Oh.
So, wow. All right, so you guys see me jumping around for the past, like, 2 minutes. Because I guess I'm having some kind of tech issues, and I've been trying to sort this out somehow. So I guess the problem is, and the reason I'm bringing it up, it will soon be apparent, is everyone on Facebook Live and YouTube can hear me perfectly fine. Everyone on the mobile app, which is TuneIn Radio or the WTF Nation Radio app, can hear me but cannot hear Raptor Mom or anyone that calls in. But if you're on Facebook Live or YouTube, you can hear everything just fine. So, being the tech geek, I have no idea what's causing it. Because everything should be working fine. Yeah. I got nothing. I got no idea.
Is this Tech Hour with Pi?
I guess. Yeah, because obviously the audio is working correctly, because if Facebook Live and YouTube can hear you and the caller, then the audio is obviously going through. But for some reason, it's not going through to the app. So I have no idea. So if any of you guys want a job, because you're a tech geek, then then go to our website at WTFnationradio.com and fill out the application. I think it's under like contact us, join the team, or join the team. I don't know, something like that. Just head on over there, and you should be good to go. Yeah, because I have no idea what's going on. Like zero freaking idea, nothing. Everything's plugged in, and before I broke all this down for Colorado, I made a point of labeling everything, because during your army history or your service, you go to break shit down and you just pull shit apart because you just need to break it down, right? Mm-hmm. And then when it's time to put everything back together, no one knows how to put it together because nothing's labeled. There's no instructions. You get that one person that's like, oh, I know how to do this. I done it like once 4 years ago, but I think I know how to do it. And you try and build like a tent or something, and you end up building a truck because it's all jacked up. Yeah, so I figured, I'll label everything, and that way I know where everything goes. And obviously that didn't work. So I have no idea what's going on. No, zero. Dale says troubleshooting. Well, here's the thing. DMEC said it did work on Wednesday. Well, here's the thing with troubleshooting. So, troubleshooting, the I guess the first step would be, can you hear it on You cannot hear it on the app. Can you hear it on Facebook Live and or YouTube? And the answer is yes. So from then, you have them little flowchart diagrams. Well, then the arrow goes to you're fucked, because I have no idea why it wouldn't go to the app. Because, or do I?
Oh, brain fart.
Yeah. So there's two applications I run. One for Facebook Live and YouTube, and another one directly to the server. But the one to the server doesn't go directly to, doesn't have anything to do with Facebook Live or YouTube. So I can stream either to Facebook Live or YouTube, or Facebook Live and YouTube, or just to the server, or any combination of them, or all of them. But everything is still set up the same way, so I have no idea why it's not going to the server. Unless it's specific settings in the program that goes out to the server, but that, I don't think that changes anything. I don't think that makes any difference. So I have no idea what's going on. So there we go. Anyway, fuck it. It's Friday. Fuck it, Friday. But yeah, that one night stand. That was a pretty ingenious costume. I think that was pretty
so.
Fun. Yeah, it was pretty fun. If you guys have got any other costumes that you've come up with that are pretty creative, give me a call, 415-889-8367. I'm kind of interested to hear. Now, not costumes that you've seen online that you're like, oh my God, they're so awesome. Or costumes that you've seen other people wear. I'm interested in costumes that you've come up with, you've created, you've thought of, like original kind of ideas. Because it's original. Like I said, I don't think I've ever come up with anything funny like that. I'm more of I enjoy doing the costumes. Oh man, my nose is itchy. I enjoyed doing the costumes. Like I was saying, my son, I'd done him up for like Two-Face. It took about like 2.5 hours to do, maybe 3 hours. I used the liquid latex and all kinds of stuff. It is a little tip, and I done this just when I done it. I didn't look anything up. I didn't look up how to create this, how to do scars, I didn't look up any of that shit. I literally just looked up a picture of Two-Face, and I had that picture, and then I went to town, started sculpting and stuff like that. But all I used was liquid latex, some paints and colors and stuff, and toilet paper.
Nice.
Yeah. So you just get the toilet paper, you wet it, and then you kind of squeeze it all out so it's just damp. And then you mold it. You kind of like rip it off here, you pull it down here, kind of stretch it out a little bit, and you put it on like places around the face. And then use the liquid latex to kind of stick it on. And then you can also use it to like dab all over it. So some of the latex sinks into the toilet paper. So it gives it kind of that texture and kind of holds its form a little bit better. And then, once that's kind of dried, then you go around and you start painting. You do like the base coat of the makeup and stuff. And then you kind of get into the details and then use some fake blood and yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, so I think ISIS hacked my shit and shut us down from the server. Either ISIS or Hillary Clinton, one of them two.
I mean, tomato.
Yeah, kind of the same thing, right? I mean, according to Trump, Hillary is in charge of ISIS. Isn't that what he said? I don't know, some shit like that. I don't know. But yeah, there we go.
I guess speaking on that note, like the debates.
Yeah, I know, right? So, how many of you guys watched the debates? Like all three of them, because I think it was the second debate had like 11 million viewers, like something crazy like that. The most watched debates ever in history. It's very interesting. Obviously, the first one was kind of a clown show. I think it's because it's the first one Trump ever done, so he had no idea of what he was doing. He kind of winged it, kind of like we do here every day at WTF Nation Radio. Welcome to the show. And then the second one, he kind of settled in and kind of knew what he was doing, is finding his place, and then kind of just went straight out attacks. And this third one, I think it was a lot better. There was a lot more substance to it. He still threw in some zingers here and there, which was awesome. But I felt that she was on the defensive so much more, and I felt there was times that she became so frustrated. You could see it in her face. I mean,
Yeah.
and she's a born liar. She's been a politician for 30 freaking years. 30 freaking years, okay? Yeah. An evil freaking doctor for 30 freaking years. Yeah. But yeah, so and she's able to hide that shit. She knows how to act and how to present herself and do all that kind of stuff. But you could visibly see she was frustrated and pretty pissed off at times. But yeah, so I think overall the third debate was obviously the best. They actually answered some of the policy questions.
About time.
Yeah, I know, right? And so they were doing pretty good. But yeah. Yeah.
Like, he was like, where do I even start? The thing that really, I wouldn't say cracked me up the most, that got to me, is in the beginning, like at the debate, or towards the beginning, they asked a question about the Second Amendment. And I believe in there was also partially about the Supreme Court justices. And anyways, about the Second Amendment, she kept going on about how toddlers kill people with guns every year. And then going on about the loopholes that there are to purchase a gun online and at a gun show, which if anyone knows about gun laws and shit like that, she's full of shit. But anyways, so like when she brought up, the whole toddlers are killing people, and then later, like right after that question, the topic of abortion was brought up. And then she was going on about, partial birth abortions because of the mother, of health reasons and stuff like that. And it's just like, really? Like you're saying that we need to save the toddlers, but yet here you are talking about partial birth abortions and late term abortions. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, she I, I think she screwed up a number of times during that debate, and she kind of knew it. On the whole Second Amendment deal, like I'm pro Second Amendment. I'm not a crazy firearms fanatic, but I mean I'm for it. But she screwed up. I feel she screwed up because the point she was trying to make when it came to the Second Amendment, like you said, toddlers are running around killing themselves. That's not a very good point, to be honest.
But you know how to fix that? Like if a toddler gets a hold of a gun, shoots someone, or kills himself, the parents need to be held liable.
Oh,
That's
of course,
how you
yeah.
fucking fix it.
Yeah, send the parents to fucking jail. If you're a owner of any kind of firearm, it's your responsibility not only to teach and train your kids about firearms because you have one in the house, but also to make sure that shit is fully secured. Look at this for an example, okay? The armorer in the military, the armorer is responsible for all weapons inside the arms room. The second it's signed out, then it becomes that person, that individual's responsibility. But while it's in the arms room, it's completely his sole responsibility. If anything happens to them weapons, everyone looks at him. If you look at the arms room as your house, it's the same thing. Your firearm in your house, your sole responsibility, which includes making sure it's secure at all times. If some people walk around with the firearm on them, and it makes sense. They say, if a bad guy invades your house for whatever reason, he's not going to stop and give you a timeout while you go get your firearm. That makes sense. But when it comes to the times where, like, maybe you're taking a shower or, you're going to bed, shit like that, where you're not able to have 100% control of that weapon, then maybe you should lock it up in a place where it's not accessible to toddlers or kids. That's kind of common sense, but common sense doesn't seem to be very common nowadays. So her whole reasoning or argument on that is kind of
flawed.
Null and void. I think Trump hit the nail on the head when he said, if you look at Chicago, the toughest gun laws in the country, but also the highest death or crime rate due to firearms. They got thousands of people that have been shot already this year. Blah 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 blah. So gun control, the laws don't do anything, and as we all know, the definition of criminal is someone that breaks the law. So you can essentially get rid of the Second Amendment, just ban firearms altogether, and that's still not going to do anything because criminals are still going to have firearms. It's just that freaking simple. It is what it is. If laws did anything, then once people got locked up for breaking the law, they would be rehabilitated, right? They'd come out of prison and they'd be an upstanding citizen. Well, that's not the case because there's a high percentage of reoffenders because they don't care about the law. So I think that's why she veered away from using stricter laws in that sense and kind of went for the sympathy vote of mothers and women for kids and toddlers and stuff like that. But yeah, she was. I think Trump slammed her on a number of topics when it came to that stuff. He even brought up the videos of I think it was the Veritas project. Mm-hmm. She didn't mention anything about that. and she like completely ignored it, like she did a couple other ones. So I think she did good. She didn't take the bait for a number of topics, but overall, I think Trump stole the show. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
I think the what else kind of really stood out besides the whole gun control and stuff. And as I said, a couple shows before, to me, this election, it's not about Hillary or Trump. It's about who's appointing the Supreme Court justices. Like, I mean, yes, there is one vacant seat right now, but I mean, look at some of those guys. They're like the one lady, I can't think of her name right now. She looks like a fucking dinosaur. So I imagine, and typically what each Supreme Court justice does is they wait until say if there's a Republican president this time around, the ones that are more on the conservative side or Republicans will step down so they can nominate a Republican Supreme Court justice. It's always how it's been.
Right.
But I can see one of them end up like Justice Scalia. I can't say his last name. Scalise.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah. So that, to me, that's my main concern, because if not, yes, Hillary Clinton, and Donald Trump, they cannot dictate the Second Amendment and the laws and make the law and push laws. However, whatever happens within the Congress, making the law, and say Trump or Hillary gets to sign it into law, it's the Supreme Court justice's job when somebody brings it that law up to the Supreme Court and be like, this is against the Second Amendment. This is not constitutional. And then the Supreme Court will look at that and say, hey, yeah, this isn't constitutional. Yes, this is constitutional. So that's my main concern.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes, regardless of who becomes president, whether it's Hillary or Trump. There's going to be a lot of changes. The Supreme Court justice is one of the big ones, because essentially they determine the direction of the law in the country. Because law isn't the way it's written; it's the way it's interpreted. And that's why you have a lot of loopholes, because if you interpret the law one way and I interpret it another, you can do two totally different things. So that's when it becomes tricky. Now, Trump's saying he sees the Constitution as the Constitution is written, and it should be upheld the same way. Clinton is more of a it's more of a guideline type of thing, and you can use them loopholes and interpret it in whichever way you want. So I mean, take that for what you will. Now I've also seen around Facebook, it was I guess people were posting this thing. If Hillary wins, then the election is corrupt. To prove this, go to Trump's page, see how many friends you have that like his page. Go to Hillary's page, go see how many friends that you have that like Hillary's page. And everything I've seen is Trump blows Hillary out the water. Now, that could also be because of the circles you run in. Well, first of all, not everybody goes to like the page of whatever candidate they support. Some people just like, hey, I support this person, is what it is. Don't want to get into the politics of everything, and just doesn't like the page. Oh my gosh, I got hiccups. But like I said, the circles you run in and the friends you have on Facebook and all that kind of stuff may not overlap into the opposite side. So I think that particular experiment, for lack of better words, is flawed, because you generally speaking surround yourself with like-minded people. So there you go. Yeah. What I do want to kind of touch on is the WikiLeaks emails. This is an article coming from bizpackreview.com. But it says when CNN's Chris Cuomo, or Chomo, however the fuck you pronounce that, attempted to get Hillary Clinton, attempted to get Hillary Clinton's supporter to explain an unflattering email she wrote about the Democratic nominee, he ran headlong into what is now become SOP for the candidate when faced with a difficult question. Deflect, deflect, deflect. WikiLeaks released an email this week in which Center for American Progress President Neera Tanden wrote that the candidate's inability to connect with the American voter may be turning into a, quote, character problem. Clinton's inability to just do a national interview and communicate genuine feelings of remorse and regret is now, I fear, becoming a character problem, the email said. Now, when Secretary Clinton was asked about this, she went to the point that the campaign prefers, which is WikiLeaks is Russia infiltrating the election. This may be true, but let's deal with the substance of one of the ones that you wrote, he said in this, and then displayed her email. Where did you guys come to the conclusion about Clinton had such a hard time just owning what she said? Did something go wrong with the email server? And it was just pure fucking deflection, which makes me think that one, the emails are 100% true, and two, they realize what a shitstorm they've created. Now, there's only a couple of reasons people generally deflect. One, because they don't want to talk about it because it's true. They've been caught. It is what it is. The truth is out there. And number two is damage control to prevent it getting any bigger, to stop you from putting your foot in your mouth. That's really the only two reasons people deflect. The other, I guess, is if you're not aware of all the information, or you're trying to bide yourself some time, something like that. But yeah, the two main reasons is is the oh shit factor. The truth is out there, and you don't want to put your foot in your mouth and make things worse. And they've been deflecting a lot. If you look at the everything that's been going on, they try and sidestep that whole thing. At least from Trump's point of view, the whole I guess sex scandal, groping scandal, whatever you want to call it. He first of all, he came out and was like, yeah, the whole groping thing, or was saying about that groping thing on the bus thing. He was like, yeah, I kind of screwed up. I apologize. And then when these women miraculously appeared after 20 years saying he sexually assaulted me, he just came right out and said, no, I've never met these women. I have no idea what's going on.
With these women coming out after 20 years of this, of their claims, he's a billionaire. At some point, they would have sued him for emotional or any type of damages.
Yeah, he's a billionaire. Why wouldn't you sue him over something like that?
I mean, really? Like 2 weeks or actually 3 weeks before an election, you're just now coming out?
If you look at the Project Veritas or Veritas Project videos, you'll see they talk about, sending people to Trump rallies to cause violence. They talk about all kinds of other stuff, voter fraud and all kinds of stuff. Now, I can't remember Maybe I'm wrong, but I think they said something similar to these women now speaking out, where they will find people to speak out about false allegations and stuff. I may be wrong. I'm pretty sure I heard something to that effect. I don't know. So
I mean, technically, if Trump wanted to, he could sue them for defamation of character.
yeah, but then you're adding more credibility to it. It's best just to
Yeah,
say,
I know. Just
hey,
let
no,
it go,
I didn't
but-
do that. They're making this crap up. It's the Hillary campaign that's planting these people. Ha ha, good job, didn't work. And then just Charlie Mike and just forget about it. I mean, they have no evidence. Otherwise, they would have brought it up. Well, I wouldn't say hearsay because it's coming from them, but it's unverifiable one way or the other. And if they can't verify it, if they can't provide any type of evidence, then it's nothing. They were essentially throwing shit against the wall and hope it stuck. Yeah, and I don't think it does. Timmy and Dale are trying to give me tech support here. Timmy says, "Who's the IMO?" Well, that would be me. And Timmy asked if I restarted the computer. Well, if I did that, then everything would shut down, and then would be no show. So I don't know. Something's better than nothing, I guess. But hopefully, after the show's done, I can go back and listen to everything, and fingers
figure it out.
crossed it recorded everything, because I record all my shows so we can put it up for a podcast. So hopefully it records everything correctly. If not, then I'm probably going to have to pull the audio from Facebook Live or YouTube or some other kind of technological way. I don't know. We're going to have to see what happens. But yeah. Yeah, there we go. Maybe we should hire Hillary Clinton's tech guy.
Well, I mean, apparently they lose a lot of emails. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, maybe he'd end up deleting all our shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would suck.
Yeah. Maybe that's the backup plan for Raptor 6 and 7 when they want to burn down a station. Maybe they're working on trying to hire that guy.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be something. WTF Nation Radio, you're on the air.
Who's going to win, Michigan or Penn State?
James. So if you don't know about James, he's an avid Michigan fan. Yeah, I don't know. He's probably the only one in the world, but I guess every team has to have at least one fan.
Actually, I just called because I wanted to comment on some of your political tripe.
Yeah, go
Okay.
for it, man.
But, I was listening to to some of the conversation and, looking at the media, for example, blacking out O'Keefe and so forth. I'm not sure Trump's going to win. I think that looking just at the WikiLeaks that have come out and showing the correlation, the collusion between the Hillary camp, the media, and everything is, and government entities is going to make this. And I guess where I'm going with this is that's why Trump is out there saying that the election is rigged. It is completely rigged.
Oh, yeah.
It may not be at Grizzly.
James, I know you brought that up, and I can't really quote exactly. Like, I saw it this morning on Facebook. It was the beginning towards the elections, like the primaries and stuff. Like, Elizabeth Warren and Hillary Clinton have said, shit was rigged with the voting process and the election with the primaries and stuff. And now they're completely saying that it's not rigged. So, like, it's okay for them, in the beginning to say, oh, it's all rigged. But now that things are, I guess, they're kind of working in their favor, they're saying it's not.
And that brings me to the point, right? There's various research that has gone on. One that you hear Trump bring up, which is the Pew research that shows it's completely rigged. We've all read the stories, or at least we should have all read the stories. Where in, for example, Virginia, they have thousands of illegals who've registered to vote, which is illegal, by the way, by federal law. But the states have weakened the laws to the point, for example, in Virginia, that they're allowing. That they've actually went and they're allowing both in Virginia and California people with felonies to vote this election, even if you're in jail.
It's funny you mentioned that.
this last couple of weeks, huh?
It's funny you mentioned that because I was reading an article, I think it was yesterday, that in Florida there are thousands of people that are dead, like they're 6 feet under, that are still registered to vote, and the article specifically said the Democrats used them people to their advantage. It was brought up to Obama to cancel all that, like bring into law something that will stop all that, and he hasn't done anything because obviously
But
it's
then you have
to
ask
their
yourself
advantage.
this, though. Why is the GOP not at every cemetery registering dead people? Why is only the Democrats doing it? Now, I'm not suggesting I want to see the election rigged, but it is, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Trump brings up a good point. A man died 21 years ago. His entire life, up until he's in his 60s, he was a registered Democrat or Republican. But the day he dies, 21 years preceding that, he's now a Democrat. What's going on?
Right.
I mean, it's funny when you hear it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Another thing that's always bugged me, and I thought was one of the biggest reasons of why the election process is rigged, is the Electoral College.
Yes.
Now, back in Thailand, there is no Electoral College. It's popular vote. 100 million people say this person, 60 million people say that person. Well, this person wins. That's simple.
So you know why we've never been a nation of that's a democracy. We never have been that. We've always been a nation of representation, and the reason we're that way is the heartland of America that you see is massively red would die if we went to popular vote. And it would only be the coastal major cities that would dictate everything if we went to a popular vote. So I'm kind of against that because of that, and we've never been that for 240-some years. So I'm not really for going to that. I'm just for let's police up what we have. Let's have a fair, system and process. And the reason the media is in bed with what the Democrats are saying is they don't want you to know that it's rigged.
Right.
And it is rigged. We've known it for years.
And that you brought up, the media, and they don't want you to know it's rigged. It's not rigged, like, as for, say, the dead people who are voting, democratically, but the way the media has presented the candidates, like, to, like, most, and even, like, just, like, social media, even that, too, like, Facebook and stuff like that, people don't stop and they don't do their research on each candidate and what they've done. And with the whole WikiLeaks thing, like, I kind of wish they would have pushed that stuff, like, out sooner and then until now. I don't know why they waited until now. Honestly, like, a lot of people at this point have already had their minds made up. They've had their minds made up for a while.
Well, remember this, too. Also, almost 40% of this nation has already voted.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a little late for them to push that out now.
Yeah, I think kind of getting back onto one of the points you were talking about, I think I think it's going to be very close. I think there have been times, definitely I have thought that there have been times where Trump will lose. I think with the emails coming out, the videos coming out, I think Hillary has lost a lot of support, and maybe they just won't vote at all. But I think Trump does have a very, very good chance.
The problem that Trump has, just the way I look at the followings and just looking at social media, I honestly believe now that people do not follow the news, and we actually can look at polls that show that less than 6% of the people say they even believe the news.
Right.
So I think people get their news off social media. So that correlates back to what you had stated earlier is, hey, well, my friends and who I do show that, we're obviously more Trump supporters, as an example. I, for one, have activities that I do where I have friends across the spectrum. And something that I've noticed in the last couple of days since this last debate, because let's face it, Trump was doing really good in that debate, but he took the wind out of the sails when his daughter and his campaign manager at the very beginning said he will support the results, and then he turned around and said that he didn't know. Right?
Yeah.
He didn't say wouldn't. He just said he didn't know.
You know what? I think that was a good move because he had already spoken about the emails and the videos, and I think by him saying, I'm not sure, we'll see what happens, I'll leave you in suspense, I think that was reinforcing the fact that because of all this stuff that has come out, it very well could influence the result due to corruption. I
think that was his message, but let's face it, right? I mean, Trump, I'm just going to be honest now, word here, right? To me, Hillary's the most corrupt, lying piece of garbage I've ever seen run for office,
right,
for the president. But Trump is probably perhaps the most immature, unprofessional, vile-mouthed person that I've ever seen running, who can't put three words together. My 9-year-old granddaughter, that's how old I am, can probably out-debate him. And because all he can do is come up with parroting phrases, right? That's what I hear from him. I don't see somebody who's detailed. That tells me that the man's a little lazy in terms of sitting down and studying some of the details around some of the policies he's pushing and promoting. That hurts him, in my opinion, right? I'm not saying everybody's. That hurts him with a majority of the electorate, or of the GOP, for example, and the independent. So if you look at the way Trump got to where he is today, he never had 40% of the GOP voters, ever. He never got over 50% support from his own party.
Yeah, but that's
he got
also...
in there because the RNC allowed 17 people to run, which was the biggest mistake ever.
Right.
Had it been 5 or 6, you'd have probably had a Ted Cruz or a Rubio or somebody. Ted Cruz would be smoking Hillary around these debates like no tomorrow. He'd have a 20-point lead and you'd win. But we put in a guy because we're so sick and tired of the establishment, right? I mean, that's what it boiled down to. That we allowed the minority to dictate this election for people that are more conservative. And it's going to cost us in the end, is what we're going to find out. Possibly. I hope you're right that it doesn't. But
right.
I don't know.
I mean, either way, I think, bottom line, there's going to be issues. I mean, Trump isn't as well-rounded as any of the other politicians that could be running for president. And that's because he hasn't been in the political realm. He's a businessman, and from what I can make of Trump, he's straight to the point. He doesn't care about feelings. He just tells it how it is. So yes, I think it damages him to the point where it's not very presidential of him. But that's also what people like about him, is that he is to the point and doesn't care whether you like it, whether it hurts your feelings or not. It just is what it is. So freaking deal with it.
I agree with that, but the problem is you have to go win. So right now we know that Trump has a hard-line 18 million people that support him. They will support him until the day he dies, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But there's 140 million voters out there. You have to go out and persuade those that don't believe in you to believe in you. That's the mistake I think he made. I think he loves to go to rallies, and he gets tremendous support at these rallies. I mean, like never seen before in the history of politics, at least modern politics. But the problem is he had those voters. Those voters are going to stay with him for, he needed to go out and get some of the people I have on Facebook who are now writing in Pence.
Right.
They're not going to vote for him. And all I'm suggesting is I hope you're right, and and that these guys are wrong. But when I see somebody like Eric Bolling, for example, on the 5 on Fox News, you look at how the sales came out of that guy the next day when Trump says, I will support it if I win. It just drew it right out of him, and I see that in social media, going on right now. People are just shocked. Why are you doing this? He already had you. He already had me. Why is he not trying to get everybody else? And that's what I fear. But on a lighter note, some of my friends up in Washington State, they're riding in Bernie Sanders, so we don't know what's going to happen. My point.
Yeah, I think on both sides of the fence, people don't like who their candidate is, and are going to try and mess it up for both people. I say mess it up. I mean, like writing for Bernie or writing for Pence or freaking Vermin Extreme.
Vermin Supreme.
Yeah, that dude, or whatever. I think this election overall is just a joke. You have two candidates that really shouldn't be where they're at, but it kind of is what it is. There's really no way out at this point. So we just got to kind of deal with it. Hey, James, we're up against a break, brother. I appreciate you calling in, man. It was a good conversation.
All right, we'll talk with you. Thanks.
All righty, man. You have a good day. So there we go, boys and girls. Kind of a bit of a political talk. It was a good conversation, though. I like it. It was good. I mean, that's what it's about at the end of the day. We here at WTF Nation Radio and US Army WTF Moments is all about conversation. It doesn't matter if you're a Hillary supporter. It doesn't matter if you're a Trump supporter. What matters is being able to say what you want to say. Give you guys and girls a voice. So it is what it is. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to see if I can work out some of these tech issues. Probably not. And yeah, and we'll be right back. So chill out, listen to this stuff, and we'll be back in a minute.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
No lie, I'ma kill it, homie, off top. Never quitting, I'll be spinning till the beat stop. Even then, I'ma take this pen, put that bitch to the pad and make it spin. I'm winning like Charlie Sheen, on my fiend for the green like a piehead bee. Look at these hoes, they jocking me. I got albums out and they not for free. Acting hard, but you not a G. Stephen Hobbs is a prodigy, but all the hoes that's dogging me, I'm waiting for your apology. Every time you hear me yelling, I be killing every beat that I'm on. This Redcon 1, I'ma straight up murder every song. To the day I'm never gonna stop.
Welcome to my life. I'm never gonna quit.
All day, all night, on my grind, just putting in that work, dog. Welcome to my life.
I'm never gonna stop.
All day, all night, on my grind, just putting in that work, yeah. Welcome to my life.
I'm never gonna quit.
All day, all night, I'm on my grind, just putting in that work, yeah. Welcome to my life.
My team's so cold and we dirty. Your team's so old and you thirsty. I be so bold when I call them out. That team go fold, begging mercy. Come on, welcome to the show. They gather around when I do my flow. Paint pictures, oh so incredible. Gotta let them know Jay is too lyrical. When I let it go, when I spit a flow. Oh, never for the dough and I'm good to go. Had a lot of anger, gotta let it go. Drop a couple bangers and they better blow. Never know, but you gotta give it all. Gas, no brakes when I'm driving on. No rest, no sleep, no breaks, no second takes in this life that I'm living on. Never quit.
I would never quit, I kept on going. Rise like room, kept on growing. Hated by many, but I kept on flowing. Wolf out in my cup and I kept on pouring. Eyes on the prize and my progress showing. Now I'm quoted like a Shakespeare poem. Now they like that SSH, I know them. I got every CD, yeah, I own them. Redcon 1 be the team with me, just like Sprite is with that Hennessy. My team so cold, yeah, so cold. We run this game like a referee. Why do some of y'all stay mad at me? Y'all off the team and wasn't meant to be. We Redcon 1, M&G. Y'all never gonna stop reality.
Welcome to my life.
I'm never gonna quit. All day, all night, on my grind, just putting in that work, dog. Welcome to my life.
I'm never gonna stop.
All day, all night, on my grind, just putting in that work, yeah. Welcome to my
I'm
life.
never gonna quit.
All day, all night, I'm on my grind, just putting in that work, yeah. Welcome to my life.
I can never stop, it's not in my DNA. I can never quit, better check my resume. Stay cooking up these bars like eggs and grits. To y'all, I'm in the kitchen. To me, I'm in the gravel pit. Watch who you talking to, or where you swinging at. The places that I've been, better never catch you walking at. If it's gas, it must be wet. Disrespect, I disconnect. I'm living that life, you living a lie. Listen as I testify.
You flipping fables, you suckers just isn't able. Your squadron thinking they shining, but none of them got no arrows. Maybe I'm just a cocky prick, popping off when I'm with my clique. All of y'all want to stop the kid, but I'm not till I'm pocketing it. Apocalyptic, so prescripted. My team was gold, but now it's frigid. Ever since I came to win enlisted with RC1MG, who missed it? I may be twisting, my gears are lightweight shifting, but I'm not quitting until the day I get it. It's that simplistic.
Welcome to my life.
I'm never gonna quit. All day, all night, on my grind, just putting in that I'm never gonna stop. All day, all night on my grind, just putting in that work. Yeah, welcome to my life. Never gonna quit.
All day, all night, I'm on my grind, just putting in that work. Yeah, welcome to my life.
WTF Nation Radio.
I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's gray, and Wednesday's too. Thursday, I don't care about you. It's Friday, I'm in love. Monday, you can't fall apart. Tuesday, Wednesday, break my heart. Oh, Thursday doesn't even start. It's Friday, I'm in love. Saturday waits, and Sunday always comes too late. But Friday never hesitates. I don't care if Monday's flat. Tuesday, Wednesday, heart attack. Thursday, never looking back. It's Friday, I'm in love. Monday, you can't hold your head. Tuesday, Wednesday, stay in bed. Or Thursday, watch the walls instead. It's Friday, I'm in love. Saturday waits, and Sunday always comes too late. But Friday never hesitates. Dressed up to the eyes, a wonderful surprise. To see your shoes and your spirits rise. Throwing up your crown, just smiling at the sound. As sleek as a tree spinning round and round. Always take a big bite, it's such a gorgeous sight. To see you wait in the middle of the night. Can never get enough of this stuff. It's Friday, I'm in love. I don't care if Monday's blue. Tuesday's gay and Wednesday's too. Thursday, I don't care about you. It's Friday, I'm in love. Monday, you can't fall apart. Tuesday, Wednesday, break my heart. Thursday, it doesn't even start. It's Friday, I'm in love.
And we're back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, right, during the break, I changed some stuff around. So let me know if you guys can hear Reptimum. Hey, Reptimum, say words. Now I can't hear Reptimum. All right, so let me change some stuff back. Oh man.
You there?
Ah, there we go. There we go. Oh, man. So I changed stuff around. That did not work at all. At all. So, at least now we know that as far as connections, we're good to go. The connections are the way they should be, which means I labeled them correctly. Yay, go me. But I don't know why the other stuff ain't working. I got no idea. It's burn the place down, I guess. Oh my gosh. Got nothing. I got nothing. It's Friday. I just need to start drinking now already. Yeah, it's got to be something. Yeah, it's got to be a software issue or something, D-Max. Probably a setting somewhere that I messed up without realizing, or I don't know. I got nothing. Nothing. Here's a story for you guys. I'll get rid of that. The Army has now outlined a path to transition for transgender soldiers. Now that transgender soldiers are allowed to serve openly in the Army, the service is rolling out its transition policy for those who hope to serve as their preferred gender. Now, if you guys remember, maybe a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, something like that, I spoke about this briefly, where the Department of Defense had rolled out some, I guess at the time, some guidelines of what was going to happen. And from what I can remember, the basics of it was that people would be able to go through counseling, hormone therapy, but the Army or the DoD would not pay for the surgery. And then after they took the hormone therapy, they would then be under the whatever sex it is that they're changing to. And some other stuff that I can't remember. But the article says a new directive dated October 7th lays out the path for soldiers to obtain a transgender diagnosis from an Army medical provider, put together a transition plan and timeline with their doctor and their command, and eventually change their gender in the Defense Enrollment Eligibility Reporting System, or DEERS, to begin living and serving as their preferred gender. The Army doesn't track the number of transgender soldiers currently serving, according to Paul Prince, an Army spokesman, but a 2016 Rand Corps report commissioned by the Department of Defense estimated that there are about 2,400 transgender men and women currently serving in the military as a whole. There are no physical requirements to begin a gender change other than confirmation from a doctor that a transition is medically necessary, according to the directive. Transition plans will be completed individual as far as surgeries, hormones, or other medical interventions. Costs associated vary widely, as each person has to determine the mix of physical transformations they want to undertake. Hormone therapy, for instance, costs about $100 a month, according to the Transgender Law Center. Sex reassignment surgery can cost tens of thousands of dollars, but is not required for an individual to transition. Other surgeries can include breast implants, breast reductions, tracheal shaving, and numerous facial tweaks, but the Army won't necessarily cover all of those. The Army is committed to the appropriate levels of medical care and resources that best support our leaders, soldiers, and their families, which ultimately enhances total force readiness and capability, Prince said. To this end, Army officers responsible for its transgender policy are currently collaborating with officials in DoD Health Affairs to develop further guidance concerning approved medical operations and procedures. To complete a transition, a soldier must provide written confirmation from their doctor that they are stable, according to the doctor, in their new gender to their brigade level commander. Now, this is an important part of it.
Okay.
So you have to go to the doc and say, the doc has to say, he's stable or she's stable enough to, I guess, be the opposite gender. And then you got to submit that to your brigade level commander. Then they must submit legal evidence of their gender change, including a reissued birth certificate, a court order, or a passport with their preferred marker. Once that is cleared, the commander will send a written letter to Human Resources Command, which has 30 days for active duty, and 60 days for reserve component soldiers to make the change in DEERS. So, you have to go to the doc. My nose. You have to go to the doc. After speaking to the doc, they decide, yes, you're stable enough to, I guess, be able to switch gender or whatever. Then you have to go get it updated. I guess your government ID have to be updated, whether it's birth certificate, passport, whatever the case may be. So once you've changed that, then you can go to the commander, and then the commander sends up a letter. Reservists and guardsmen go through the same plan, although if they are not eligible for Army medical care at the time of transition, they must get a diagnosis from a civilian provider and have it approved by the Army Reserve Command Surgeon or the Chief Surgeon at the Army National Guard. It's up to commanders, according to the directive, to manage their soldiers and their units to make transitions go as smoothly as possible. It says, commanders should approach a soldier undergoing gender transition in the same way they would approach a soldier undergoing any medically necessary treatment. Commanders will continue to minimize effects to the mission and ensure continued unit readiness. In order to keep things running smoothly, commanders will have the power to adjust a soldier's transition date, offer extended leave, or put the soldier on temporary disability status. In cases where soldiers require medically necessary but not urgent procedures, the commander, by regulation, may adjust the date on which a soldier's procedure will take place. As long as a soldier is reporting for duty every day during a transition, policy dictates that they will be treated according to their gender markers in DEERS, following uniform and grooming regulations as well as physical fitness standards. The Army is a standards-based institution, and for policies and standards that apply differently to soldiers according to gender, the Army recognizes a soldier's gender by the soldier's gender marker. However, according to the directive, commanders are allowed to change a soldier's billet or local bathroom and shower rules to protect privacy or modesty interests. But commanders cannot require that, for example, a male to female transitioning to use women's facilities. So, in English, what that says is, if I am going to become a female, I can still use the male bathrooms. You cannot order me to use the female bathrooms. Get that shit. Units also are not allowed to modify or redesignate facilities to make them transgender only. The Army has a November 1st deadline to put out training and guidance for commanders to pass down to soldiers on how to navigate a unit with a transitioning soldier. By July 2017, that training will be integrated into the service's existing training rotation. By October 2018, the Inspector General will have completed a report on the Army's compliance with the transgender integration policy. There you go. So there's some basic rules and guidelines that have been put out so far.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? DMEX says, does the API need to be updated? Nope, it doesn't. So
when does this article say when it's going to take place?
It's already in effect.
It's already in effect?
Yeah, a new directive dated October 7th.
Wow.
Yeah, the SecDef already put out that, SecDef already put out that transgender soldiers can now openly serve. So that's allowed, but the rules and guidelines and all that stuff, they're still kind of up in the air, and that's what they're working on right now.
So, okay, there's a couple things I'm going to comment on. One of them being, like, when it says the commanders can put off the, I'm guessing the surgery date?
Yes.
Do you foresee, like, possibly, like, say, yeah, there's an upcoming deployment or whatever, and the commander's like, look, you can't do this.
Yep.
You need to deploy. Do you see them, someone throwing a fit, saying they're discriminating against?
Oh, of course. I mean, they're going to throw a fit just like everyone else throws a fit. If I don't know. I never experienced anything like that, but I'm assuming, let's say, I don't know. Right, let's say, for example, a female soldier whose breastises is too big and cause like back pain. So it's medically necessary to get a breast reduction. So let's say her unit and her are coming up for a deployment. Let's just say they deploy a month from now. And her surgery is scheduled 2 weeks from now. But her recovery time is, let's say, 2 months. The commander can reassign or adjust her date based off operational necessity. Like if he needs her, essentially, if the commander doesn't have anyone else to fill her slot, then she has to go. She has to deploy. It's that simple. The commander can change her date. It's going to be the same for this. If that person that's having transgender surgery or reassignment surgery, whatever you want to call it, is deploying in a month and their recovery time is 2 months long, the surgery date is in 2 weeks. If the commander doesn't have anyone to cover down, then yeah, the commander can change the date of the surgery to when they come back from deployment. Now, to answer your question, yes, I see people bitching and moaning and saying, well, you're changing it, you're discriminating against me, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I see that happening. Just because it's human nature. You have these whiny people that want it their way and for one reason or another won't accept it. Now, that's not to say every commander is going to, what's the word? Is going to be normal about it and say and look at it in a decent way. I'm assuming there will be commanders that are like on a personal level, I totally disagree with all this bullshit, so I'm just going to make it difficult. Yeah, I can see that happening. But it's going to be very hard if the commander can back up the reasons why they're changing the date. It's going to be hard to argue against that. So I don't know. It's there's definitely going to be problems. I can definitely see brigades, divisions, whatever, buckling under the pressure and saying, you know what, you can deal with being a person down. You can we'll send you someone else. I can see that happening because people don't want to be that person that gets into this political bullshit of, hey, you're stopping a transgender person from doing what they want. That's the way I see it. So I don't see any issues in the near future, especially when it comes to this crap, because people are just going to fold and just make it happen because they don't want to be that person. So it is what it is.
Now, the other thing that you mentioned in there about the PT standards and
yeah.
Oh, I had the article pulled up, and I did they say that like you, Pi, identify as a unicorn, that you get to PT with the unicorns?
Yes.
And so
all right. So according to the guidelines that they put out so far, all right. So I want to be female, so I go see my doctor and talk to my doctor about it. When the doctor says, okay, I think you're stable enough to be able to handle the transition, you've already gone through it, that is essentially going to be your counseling. So once the counseling is over with, the doctor says, yeah, you're stable enough to do the transition. At that point, I can then go and change my driver's license or change my passport or get my birth certificate reissued to say I'm female. once I have that done, then I give it to the commander, and I can also partake in female PT standards, female grooming standards, and all that kind of stuff. So yes, but I cannot do it until I have my birth certificate or whatever changed, my ID. Once you have your ID changed and you've submitted it to the commander along with the letter from the doctor, that's when you can change standards.
Okay. I mean, that kind of, makes sense. Like in the beginning, like several months ago when we were talking about this with the VA and the whole, what's his name? Private Manning or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, because it just sounded like, anybody could just say, I'm a female.
Right.
I want to go, do PT with the female and fall in line with their standards. But this, it makes sense for them to say, well, you have to change it on government documents.
Well, I mean,
you can even do that.
I understand that, but it's really not that hard. I mean, think about it, right? So you go to the doc, you convince the doc that you want to be female. Okay, fine. Yeah, not a problem. It may take a couple of months, but whatever. And then you apply to, let me see, what was it? I gotta find it now. All right, so you can have your birth certificate changed, a court order, or a passport with your preferred marker. So all you have to do is submit legal evidence of your gender change. Now, it doesn't say the only forms of identification that will be accepted is birth certificate, court order, or passport. I'm sure there's many others. So if you change your driver's license, I mean, it's a legal form of identification. So if you had that changed, I don't see why they wouldn't accept that.
But I would imagine before you have your driver's license changed, you would have to provide some sort of documentation, like a birth certificate.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, to update your driver's license as it is now, let's say you change address or I don't know, you need something changed on it. All you do is you essentially go in, you show them, maybe 2 forms of ID, and they change the crap for you.
Actually, no, for here in Texas, in order for me, because I recently just changed my address, I had to show them, I had to go to housing that said a piece of paper that said I actually live at this address.
Okay,
or
right.
Or you would have to provide a utility bill.
Okay, so then if you think about it, so all you're doing is you're proving that you now live at this new address. So to prove that I am now female, to get that on my driver's license, all I would have to do is get the letter from the doctor that states I have gone through counseling and my preferred gender is now female. And they would have to honor that. And they would then change it to female, and I would then take that to the commander. That's what I would do. That would be the cheapest way of doing it. Because a new passport is $100 and something. I don't know about birth certificate, but it's probably going to be about the same. Court order, you're probably going to have to pay court fees and that kind of stuff. So I'm not sure. But a driver's license, I would say, would be the cheapest way of doing it. But yeah, so it seems pretty simple. So let's just say I don't want to be female, but I want to be under the female standards and have a quote-unquote easier life. And I don't know if it's easier life or not. I'm just kind of using it as an example. But, I deal with the doc for a couple of months. I go down to local BMV, get that shit changed, go show the commander. He sends a letter up. But at that point, I'm good to go. I don't have to do hormone therapy. I don't have to do the surgery. If I want to identify as a female but keep all my parts, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you can't tell me I have to do hormone therapy. Like, what? Why? Like, I like the body I have now. I just feel feminine. I feel a female. I don't want to pump drugs into my body to change stuff. I don't want to take that risk. So you can't force someone to do anything health wise. And I think there will be some people that try and do that, if not A, as an experiment, but B, to try and play the system. Just it is what it is, because I mean, technically speaking, everybody should be afforded the same opportunities regardless of sex. Even more so now that every job in the US Army is open to females. So if you change your sex to a female, you then fall under female PT standards. Now, maybe not SF or Ranger School, but as far as everything else, I mean, it's essentially going to be a lot easier. And they've said that you essentially get the choice of what bathrooms and showers you want to use. It's a mess. It's a mess. Yeah. I mean, I got nothing. It's you can essentially do whatever you want. So yeah, there's that.
I'll wear this thing out somewhere.
Hey, you're on there, asshole. Anyway, sorry, that was my husband. He just kind of walked in the door for lunch.
No. But yeah, so there's that. I'm sorry, I'm getting phone calls and texts and all kinds of craziness going on.
It's okay. Like, I don't know. This seems like it's going to be a hell of a lot.
It is. It's going to be very confusing.
More confusing.
It's going to be a pain in the ass. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. I don't know. I guess maybe it's something new. Like how I guess the saying is like people are stuck in their old ways. But then again, a lot of us, the majority of us, feel like this is the military. You're not here for your social or whatever cause. You're here to defend, our country. It's not something, I knew this was going to happen when they said that Bradley Manning was going to get a sex change. Like, yeah. I knew it. That pissed me off because, all right, so this is the way I view it. Do I agree with it? No, not really. The whole transgender thing, no. I think it's more of a mental issue than it is a physical one. But you know what? Each to their own. It doesn't directly affect me or my family. So your life, your body, you do whatever you want with it. The thing that got me is Bradley Manning. He's in jail. He shouldn't be getting any kind of surgery unless it is life or death. Even if it's medically necessary, let's say he was a chick, for example, and his boobs are too big, so it gives him back pain, blah, blah, blah. That's medically necessary surgery. But that's still a cosmetic surgery. So, no, while you're in jail, you don't get that. Anyone that's in jail, unless it's life or death, should not get any type of surgery. WTF Nation Radio, you're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I had to pipe in on this one, man. This is insane. As far as command and command climates, all that, as a first sergeant, I have to worry about UCFRs. I have to worry about 200-something-odd Joes and all their personal crap. Yep. When did we have time to worry about somebody deciding if they're male or female?
You know what's up? I used to work in the training room at one point, so I know what the first sergeant commander go through. I mean, I stayed hours and hours after everyone went home because I had to deal with the UFRs and all the daily updates and all that kind of stuff. So I feel your pain, and I agree. It's ridiculous. Not only do you have to deal with the regular shitbags, which takes away from the people that actually deserve your time, but now you have to deal with this. And it's not going to be, in my opinion, it's not going to be just hey, hey, Top, I want to transition, you're going to have to deal with emotional bullshit. You're going to have to deal with...
Exactly. I mean, this opens up such a rat's nest of bullshit for commanders and first sergeants that they don't have time for it. I was there. I've been in that position. I didn't have time to worry about whether Chelsea dumb shit had to go and get his PT looked at because he wants to become a female. I don't got time for that. I got to worry about my readiness factors. I got to worry about my training calendars getting put out. I don't got time for that crap. And I just don't see how upper echelons of military officials thought, oh, well, my chain of command and my commanders have time to deal with this crap.
You know, it's a social experiment. It's appeasing the politicians. Someone thought it'd look good on the OER. Now, have you been briefed on any of this stuff, Top?
Yeah, I was briefed. I'm out now, and it was happening as I was processing out of the military. So I was dumbfounded.
What was you told from a command level? Was you essentially told, I don't care how you feel, you will do this regardless?
Well, the way it started out was that first the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. That's how this whole shitstorm started. So
right.
It was going to be, okay, we're repealing this. We're going to allow homosexuals in the military, whatever. I didn't really care about that as long as they do their job. That wasn't a headache. You know, if they had problems, they'd go to mental health, and they'd deal with their problems on their own time. As long as they're showing up to PT, doing their job, I didn't care. And what came down from above was just, hey, this is what's going to happen. And there wasn't much guidance at first. There still isn't much guidance. It was just, okay, well, we're going to implement this, and we don't really know how.
But that's
and then after
that's not really a big change if you think about it.
Yeah, well, then it became command discretion and all these rumors and stuff like that. But then it was just, nope, you take it, you deal with it, and that's just how it is.
You know, the whole gays in the military and stuff. Again, each to their own. If it doesn't directly affect me or my family, I don't really give a shit what you do.
Exactly.
I don't think there's any issues, and I've said it before. Everyone kind of made a stink about it when they said, gays are going to be allowed in the military, and then it blew over because there was no effect there.
Drama.
Like nothing happened.
Yeah, there was no drama with it. It was just, okay, now you're joined, now you're working. There wasn't all this additional surgery, hormones. If you have to go through that, you're not fit for duty.
Exactly.
End of story.
Yeah.
End of story. You are not fit for duty. You are not a good fit. You are not able to serve.
You have
to take all that time off.
I found it funny in this article. It said that under the commander's discretion, the commander can give these people extended leave or even put them on a temporary disability.
When did we have that luxury?
I never even knew a commander could put someone as temporarily disabled. Like
I've never even heard of that. I mean, I've had people. I've had guys on con leave getting recouped from getting injured or whatever, but I've never heard of extended disability. I mean, if you're disabled, you're out. You're done.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm trying to find it right here. Here it goes. It says, in order to keep things running smoothly, commanders will have the power to adjust a soldier's transition date, offer extended leave, or put the soldier on temporary disability status.
That's a slap in the face of all the people that have gotten messed up downrange.
Oh,
it really
for
is.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, what I find hard to believe about this entire thing is the whole thing, the way the Army's looking at this is, we will help support you go through all this transition stuff if we deem it medically necessary. Well, how do you deem this medically necessary? It's not damaging you in any type of way. The whole, in my opinion, the whole process of this is you feel that you are something else. That makes it a mental issue.
Exactly. I mean, a blocked artery that's medically necessary to fix.
Right.
Somebody's taking somebody's freaking willy off is not. That just and just all the years that I sat there and I tried to help soldiers get Conleaf and get it refused after they have hernia surgery or broke their back. And then just to see them bend over and say, okay, well, we're going to take all these transgender people in and we're going to just, kowtow to their wishes. Just, I don't see how we're retaining any soldiers. I really don't.
I got out, I got medically retired September 2014, so a couple of years now. And I was only in for 8 years. During that 8 years, now I know 8 years really isn't a long time, but during that 8 years, I seen the Army decline in what I would say becoming more pussified.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I remember right before I got out, I was over at 338 Lurs out of JBLM and Fort Lewis, Washington. And I had a big sticker on my Jeep Commander that said Kill Haji. And my command sergeant major came in and he's, oh, who's driving that green Jeep Commander that says they flipped absolute horseshit on me as an airborne infantryman about having Kill Haji on my truck. But yet, you can have Confederate flags or you can run around wearing your freaking motorcycle club gear. It's just, we've gotten completely pussified.
So,
and I try to explain to him, I'm like, ever since I joined the military, you guys have told me, kill Haji, kill Haji, kill Haji.
So you are obviously in for a while. Why do you think, just through your experience and observations and stuff, why do you think the Army has gone the way it's gone?
Politically correctness. That, and we've let politicians dictate how we need to be in military fashion when they don't know their heads from their asses. Half of them have never even stepped foot on combat soil. So, but yet they're the ones making the big decisions for us. That's where we've gone completely wrong as a military.
So if you think if we ignored the politicians and just let the leaders do what leaders are supposed to do, do you think the Army's able to be saved?
I think we can be saved with the right type of leadership. Right now, we need to get rid of all the toxic leadership that we had come up against in the ranks during this time of war, which we've already recognized. But what happened with that was they started cleaning from the bottom up and not from up down.
Right.
And I mean, I could talk about Colonel Johnson with the 173rd and how bad he screwed the pooch. I could name a whole bunch of officers who have really stepped on their willies and gotten in trouble. And it seemed like it was from the top down. When I was in the 173rd, I mean, I put a major in prison for 7 years. All of our problems were officers.
Damn.
It was insane. So the biggest thing, though, is right now we got politicians dictating our foreign policy and how we're supposed to fight wars. I mean, in all reality, we're not fighting a conventional war right now in Afghanistan. So why are we abiding by the Geneva Convention? That's only for uniformed forces. They're not uniformed, so we should be able to blast the shit out of them with whatever we want.
Again, I think that comes back to what you said. It's politically correct. It's the politicians that are kind of running things nowadays.
Yeah, and I mean, that's an oxymoron. Political correctness and war? No, there's nothing correct about war. War's ugly, it's nasty, and sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah. I think I've spoken about this on a number of occasions. The Geneva Convention needs to go. I mean, I can understand certain parts of it. Like if you're fighting a conventional war, if your dudes get captured or whatever, become POWs, you don't want them being tortured and fucked up. So you kind of like, hey, we'll behave if you behave. I got that. But like you said, we're not fighting that kind of war anymore. These people are hiding between innocent people.
There is no honor in that. There is nobody. I mean, we're the only ones following it, and look what's happening.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think it's about time these politicians kind of get their heads out their asses and just let the military be the military and do what needs to be done.
Oh, and that's exactly how it needs to be done, because otherwise we're going to be sitting there walking on eggshells trying to kiss every politician from every nation's ass, and we need to go back to World War I, World War II style, or we go in, we own it, you got a problem with it, suck it. I don't care. You're going to fix what you need to fix, and then we'll rebuild your infrastructure, and we'll bounce. And then you can have your country back once you prove that you don't have your head up your ass anymore.
I agree.
You know, once we stopped doing that with Vietnam, look what happened. Same thing in Iraq, and then we left, big vacuum. Afghanistan, right now they're freaking the ISIS and they're having having a blast right now in Afghanistan because we're short on numbers and they're just going to town. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I think it was yesterday we had a Marine killed in Afghanistan from an IED. And I think also yesterday or maybe this morning there was a DA civilian killed internally.
All green on blue.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The fact that hasn't been addressed, the fact that is still allowed to go on.
Well, and that's a tough situation right there because we are there to help them out, but I mean, we shouldn't be living together. We shouldn't be living in close quarters.
Right.
They're not trusted yet. You know, it's obvious that we've had all these people infiltrate the ANA and ANP in Afghanistan, and tons of green on blue. I mean, I've had friends that were killed green on blue, and it's a major problem. And I don't think the DOD has really effectively addressed that situation at all.
No, again, I think it comes down to political correctness, where they feel that they don't want to offend our quote-unquote allies, and we're supposed to be together, and it's just one of them things that happens. That's what I think they feel.
I think they're using that word ally way too loosely.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, Karzai himself has already told us to go fuck ourselves, and pretty much said that on national TV and stuff. It's a big mess. It's a huge mess.
It really is. And then watching this whole election thing, I was in Italy when Benghazi went on. Mm-hmm. And what blows my mind is what they gave as an excuse for why the AFRICOM general got left. He didn't leave. He was relieved of command. What they said was a lie. I was there. I was at his change of command for AFRICOM. I was standing on the parade field in Vicenza, Italy, 2 months prior to him being relieved. I drove him to his actual office that day, and he just took command. Wow. We don't spend that kind of money and that kind of time on a change of command for a general who's supposedly due out 2 months later.
Yeah.
That's all crap. General Ham was relieved of command by General Campbell immediately after they tried to make moves with the Admiral for Benghazi. So everything that Hillary's been saying is all crap. And what blows my mind is how people in the United States are just gobbling it up. Oh, just forget Benghazi.
Yeah.
Okay, say that to the people that were there.
Well, again,
say that to the people who had people on. I mean, we're QRF. 173rd is QRF for the for Europe and the Middle East, and we were on red status. So, tell me that didn't happen.
It goes back to what I've always said: is no one gives a shit unless it directly affects them. I mean, if you look at September 11th, for the most part, it was a national tragedy. So for the most part, people, felt, I guess, obligated to feel or do something about it. But 2 months later, there were people across the country that didn't give a shit, that forgot about it. I mean, today, I would say the vast majority of the country that doesn't give a shit because it doesn't affect them in any way.
It's called me-itis. It's me. Yep. It's what can I get for myself, and that's how I've seen this country go in the last 20 years, is everybody wants to be baller and Jay-Z and have Lamborghinis, but they don't want to look at their neighbor and see them struggling and help them up to their level.
Yep. Well, I appreciate the call, Top. It's an awesome conversation, man. I appreciate you calling in.
Oh, definitely. You guys take care. Good
Thanks.
talking with you.
You too. You have a good day.
All right. Howdy. Hey, you too. Howdy.
So that was pretty interesting. It was a good call. Man, we've had a couple of good calls today. You guys are on it. Yeah. Yeah, there you go, Top. I guess you and Ice need to get together, and maybe you can jump in on be like a special guest on Ice's show on Thursdays. You guys are like two peas in a pod. It'd be awesome. Be great. But yeah. So it's coming to about that time of the show, guys. So first and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for hanging out, watching, listening, joining us here at the show. And if you're listening to the podcast later on, thank you for taking the time to watch and listen. Because without you guys, none of this would be possible. So again, thank you. Secondly, make sure you guys tune in tonight for Friday Night Fuckery with Redleg. We've got the couple of girls from Girls for Gunslingers on the show. We're going to have Danny and Six Jane, and they're going to tell you about some of their experiences over the Freedom On Festival, what they done to help kind of make that thing happen, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So make sure you tune in tonight at 8 p.m. for that. We also have a show every night of the week here at WTF Nation Radio, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, always starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can find me here more often than not, always starting at 12 noon and ending around 2 p.m. Eastern. So tonight we got Redleg, and then tomorrow night for the Saturday Night Free-For-All, we have Redleg. Redleg's pulled duty this week. So that should be pretty interesting. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. Monday, we got a guest. Next Friday, we got a guest. Yeah, we've got guests all over the place. So that'd be interesting, to say the least. Have I forgot anything, Mom?
Just tune in tonight. We have our guests, Girls for Gunslinger, Danny, and I believe Six Jane. Mm-hmm. And then we'll also be back to playing Drink That Tune.
Oh, there we go. I forgot about that. Yeah, Drink That Tune. Everybody's favorite game for your chance to win a free WTF Nation Radio sticker. Now,
yes, D-Max, we didn't do the safety brief. We just got back from our working vacation.
Yes.
We haven't had time to do it.
I remembered the safety brief, but I was swamped yesterday that I couldn't get to it. So unfortunately, no safety brief. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can section off part of my day next Friday or next Thursday to put the safety brief together. So D-Max, it's your job alone, to make sure I remember to do the safety brief next Thursday. So there you go. Yeah, so we got Drink That Tune tonight for your chance to win a free WTF Nation Radio sticker. And it should be pretty interesting. I don't know what it's about. I don't know the list. I think we're still doing you get 5 points extra if you can guess the
theme.
The theme, yeah. So I can't even give that away for you guys. So it'll be interesting. So make sure you guys tune in tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern for that. Yeah, so that's about it. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Once again, without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So until next time, enjoy the rest of your day.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Well, that's all, folks. That's my line. Step aside, babe. Let a star do this. That's all! That's all, folks!
Can I go home now?